Okay, video has started and recording has begun. We are already, so for the record of the video, I just clicked add roles and features. The first 3 pages were already, it's in the video, but anyway, next, and this. So we are on the roles, and there are many roles here that we can install, but we're going to go for Active Directory domain services. And if we click that role, then there's a pop-up screen for all the features that this role would require to be correctly installed, right? So everyone sees this pop-up, and click add features, right? So we're installing Active Directory. This means we are preparing the first server for the AAA tasks and name resolution tasks. So this will be our first domain controller, or first server that will be called our domain controller after we install Active Directory on that, right? So next.
Do you need to select that DNS as well? Or?
No. So exactly here, although there is an option, let's not do that. Let's just select this. Why? The reason is coming in the next page. So tune in for the next episode. Oh no, next page only. So next, on the features page, since we had that pop-up already and we click the add features, we don't need that to click anything here. So leave everything on the features. Next, it's just Active Directory is a very good thing to have, and introduction, and please keep giving Microsoft a lot of money. Thank you. Oh well, no, it's just an introduction of Active Directory. So what we are doing here, okay, on the last screen it always says restart the destination server automatically if required, right? So I always click that. You know why? Because if you leave a pending restart, next tasks will be blocked, and it will make you restart, and it will make you come back and restart. So I'll just press yes. If required, it's going to restart, otherwise it's not going to restart, right? So it's always a good idea in Windows to click this. So click install. What it is doing is it installing the whole Active Directory? It's just installing the binary files, which means those files which will help us install Active Directory. If you don't do this step, we cannot install Active Directory, right? So these are just the basic files which will help us install Active Directory. And the air conditioner is bad. Oh, it's recorded as well. Okay, so is it done? Hey, join the SSD gang. What about the SSD gang? Who has SSD? No one has SSD drive. Oh, okay. So we are the SSD gang, right? So I was not used to be in the SSD gang. So SSD people were always, you're not done, you're a teacher. I was like, okay, I'll buy the SSD. Come on, give me a break. It's expensive. Right now it's SSD or super slow drive, but sometimes it does that. It becomes very slow. Right now I'm just yawning. You're not done? Okay. So done? I don't see yes, so this means no. Okay. Hey, can you stop the Skype and all the movies in the background and the games, because they're all taking memory. Stop all the programs outside of your virtual machine. So minimize your virtual machine and go to any programs that are started by default. Skype is always started. Maybe torrents are downloading something right now. So can you stop all the programs and give that memory, crucial memory to, okay, you stopped all the programs or no, it's done. Oh, cool. So yeah, the memory should be given just to virtual machines, right? Okay, close. Now we have this yellow warning triangle. Everyone sees that? Yeah. All right, click that, and it says promote this server to a domain controller. Okay, let's go ahead. Now this screen comes. Now I'm waiting for everyone to be on this screen. You're there? And everyone there? Okay, so we'll keep this as add a domain controller to an existing domain.
No.
There are 2 no's only. Which option? Add a new forest. What is a forest? Okay, anyone.
It's a collection of domains.
Okay, that's one part of that. Anyone else? What is a forest? Bunch of trees. So actually, literally it is a bunch of trees outside when you go to actual forest, but here also it's a bunch of trees.
It's a collection of domains.
Yeah, and trees. It is also called top container. So what else? What is, anyone else want to say what is tree?
Is it
In the exchange class? Okay. Oh, that's, I'm sad now. Okay, so a tree is a top container that contains all the trees and domains. True or false? Forest is the top container that contains all the trees and domains. True or false? Okay. Where's the chair? Does forest contain trees?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I heard trees.
Yeah. Chair. Okay. So forest contains. So you discussed that in exchange class as well, right?
Not discussed.
Just talk.
We heard that.
Heard
How are
that.
you?
So, okay, so I'll use this portion now. VI Fest, oh VI test, sorry. All right, so Microsoft always creates a triangle and then starts saying, so forest, top container, contains trees, collection of trees and domains. Then tree is a DNS namespace. Everyone knows the term family tree. What do you get from that? What is a family tree?
Family tree is basically the parents, the kids, and the siblings. Which are
Exactly.
coming from
Grandpa, grand-grandpa,
different
grand-grandpa. Exactly. So, but how? Why would you add a person to a family tree? What would be that unique thing you would see, or the same, not unique, sorry, the same thing you would see in all those names? Domain name. So family name. Family name. There would be, for certain, in certain family trees I've seen same name in the end going. The rest of the names are different, but one name is going straight down in family trees, right? In certain family trees, just okay, we are related, but names are different. So in the concept of tree, so forest top container. So any policies, there are some forest-wide features available. Those features can be installed within anything that is below the forest, right? Nothing above it. There is nothing above. That's final border. That's the security boundary for our Microsoft network. So forest top container contains trees and domains. Tree is a DNS namespace, and the basic definition they will say contains, tree contains a collection of domains. But what exactly is tree? Tree is a DNS namespace, main thing. DNS namespace. Now, example of that. So you need to, when you install Active Directory, you must give it a name. Just like Microsoft.com, like a internet format. So you give a name something dot something, or prefix, whatever is on before the dot is called prefix, whatever is after the dot is called suffix. So you have to give it in that format minimum when you give a domain name. For example, we will give our domain name as in the video. It is my domain dot local. So Microsoft says you must have a dot and something before and after. So, but what is something before and after? Could be anything. So it could be Toyota dot BMW. It could be anything. Tom dot Jerry dot local. Okay, it's a local domain. So anyway, once you give it a name, all the network resources, for example, whenever I say network resources, it means what? Whenever I say network assets, network resources, it's servers, all the servers, all the clients, whatever is in the network, right? Printers, what else?
Users.
So network resources, whatever you can reach over the network or whatever is providing network services. Switches, routers. So network resources include everything, but in Microsoft networks, whatever is available by name is accessible, although other Linux resources are also available. Cisco or network resources are also available. Anyway, so main in Microsoft we will be dealing more practically with these servers and clients and their shared folders than groups inside. But main network resources. So whenever you have network resources, so I'll just remove this routers and switches. I'm just trying to explain three right now. Network resources, you got to give, so you give a name to your Microsoft domain, Microsoft network, right? Which is mydomain.local. We're going to install Active Directory, and actually this is the part where we need to give the name of the domain, right? If we don't give the name, it's not going to install, it's not going to let us go ahead. We need to give a name to a Microsoft network. After giving the name, we are going to join, or we're going to add these network resources to our Microsoft domain. The only way to add these resources to this network is a process called join the domain. Joining the client to the domain, joining the server to the domain. So the main thing is when you join the network resource to the domain, what happens? Its name has this in the last of it. So server 1, in our case, right now it is just server 1, right? After joining to domain, what will be the full name of this machine? Server 1 dot my domain dot local. So before joining to domain, client is client 01 only. That's it. It's in the work group. After joining to domain, it will be client 01 dot my domain dot local. Okay, it doesn't end here. Then you have branches, right? So company has expanded. There are branches here, and there are domains. Then there will be child domains, and child domains have their own network resources, servers, clients, printers. So what happens when you create a child domain? Main parent domain is still the same, mydomain.local, but this branch is in Toronto. This is in New York. The name, I'm still talking about the tree right now. So the Toronto domain, when you create a child domain here, the child domain will be what? tor dot my domain dot local, and ny New York ny dot my domain dot local. Okay, all the network resources of the child domain, the servers, clients. Suppose now you need to name them server clients. What will you do? Server, there's a server in the child domain called server 03. it was in the work group, it was 03. When it joins the domain, what happens? Server 03 dot tor dot my domain dot local. So this means one thing is appearing in at the end of every network resource, every new child domain created. This is one tree is going on throughout all the network resources, right? Again, family tree, same name, or actually the relationship is the same going on, right? So here, if you say that this company has one tree, it is because the name mydomain.local, which you started this network by one name. So with that one name, every network resource, servers, clients, printers will in the last have this name. Every child domain and their network resources will also have this mydomain.local coming at the last. This means one tree is going on throughout. This also means one DNS namespace. DNS namespace is going on, is attached. This also shows that all these, if you just see the name of any of the network resource, you will know right away that which domain these resources are part of, right? From the name you would know right away. If you were in another company and it's toyota.com .local, so all their servers, all their clients will end with toyota.local, server 1.toyota.local, server 2. Right away from name you would know what is this resource, which network is this resource a member of, right? So the tree gives us that facility that everything has to be by name, and it is possible because of DNS. And when we put by name, then we have to be logical, sequential, hierarchical. So there's a hierarchy going on of all the names. You add a resource, you add a big resource, you add a small resource, same name goes on throughout, which means we know now which network is this resource part of, right? Tree. Second tree in the same forest would mean what? We can have every resource with the same name ending, but there is always a possibility, maybe you had a merger, maybe it's a group of companies and the guy started another company which is just selling and renting and leasing cars. So there will be, if there is a cars.local, owner is same, mydomain.local is already a company going successful, the guy opens another, but it's a different name, it's a different business. This is a different business. Cars.local is a totally different business. And you want this second business, the network of the second business, to be part of this same forest.
It might be a subdomain.
It can be a subdomain, but the name would be then, you just have to get rid of the name then. Yeah, and that's not what they want. They want a separate, independent identity of this company, but the employees of the cars.local should be able to access the resources of mydomain.local easily, and employees of mydomain.local should be able to access the resources like servers, clients, printers of cars.local easily. If you want to keep the name independent, separate, but still access of each other's resources easy, then you can create that second tree in the same forest, which means what? Cars.local. So there's cars.local here. It's also offices in Toronto, in New York, and in Mississauga. The only thing is that you have to create this domain, this tree in the same forest. There is a wizard there, and in next classes we're going to create a new tree as well. Then we're going to test that new tree. If an employee of mydomain.local or a username of mydomain.local can log into cars.local, or and username of cars.local can log into mydomain.local. We're going to try all that. So the main thing is, if you want to have another independent named domain, but you want the permissions of the network resources easily accessible, network resources to be easily accessible, then you can create a second tree within the same forest. Otherwise, create an independent forest. Why do you create an independent forest? Okay, what's the question?
The root name, domain name, that has to be same as tree root name is.
Tree name has to be different, totally different. Root name cannot be the same. mydomain.local, if that's the name, when we create a tree, and we're going to do that lab, then we're going to have to come up with a totally separate name. Even the local has to be not there. It has to be something totally new. Should not be the same name. That's the main thing. Tree,
No.
namespace, right?
No, I mean in this tree, my domain.local, the root domain name
Is
is the tree and tree.
is a tree name. Yeah. Same. The root main domain name is the first name you give. Yeah. So the naming will be changed. This means server 4.cars.local, server 5.cars.local, server 6.cars.local. They will have totally different name. So this means that maybe there were two family trees or two grandpas started living in an island, and their generation started in that island, but the island is same, and they share the same fish with the catch, or they can share the fish with each other. So that's an analogy that in one island, two grandpas or two warriors started living, and then their generation start living in the same island. So it's just like that you have one forest and one tree going on, and then you start another tree independently named, but still they can share the resources with each other. If you create a separate forest,
Another island.
then it's another island. First thing. Second thing is that it's always more political. I don't want to work with these guys. I want totally separate, independent decision making here. I want to create, or if you are a separate company altogether. Even in a group of companies, you can create a separate forest. This means you just don't want to do anything with those guys. Oh, in case we want to share resources or collaborate on a company project, then we can create a forest trust. That's another option, but that's it. In a tree, within the same forest, you can collaborate easily whenever you want. Permissions can be easily given to each other's employees, right? I don't know when I was talking there, so recording was going here. It will be, so you will hear like very small sound coming from far away for that forest discussion. Okay, anyway, yeah. Oh. Who raised their hand first?
So, is that the domain name is mydomain.local? I haven't seen it.
The tree, it's the tree, it's a DNS namespace or the tree, which is called name. It has everything to do with naming only. So it's a logical structure, it's not physical. Physically you would see domain name, but logically you would say it's one tree going on. So it's a logical structure we divided in. You can't see a tree physically or forest physically. It's logically we have defined that.
No, I'm talking about that .local. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
We are just making it as an example.
Okay.
It could be
So
anything.
I can assume it as .com, right?
Yeah, just make it .com as well. We can just in our network we have .locals as well, but it's a local domain. You can name it anything you want. In the dot, after dot, you can name it, put it .com, .net, or
Just a way.
anything else. But when you say local, there's a reason for that. Yeah. Yeah. So OU is coming way after this. Oh, don't worry about that. We are covering, in depth OU and group policies and yeah.
So, first we have implemented mydomain.local. It was implementing, then later on we decided to add cars.local on that domain, on that forest.
Yeah.
So, domain name to the cards are local, or they are totally independent, policy-wise, everything?
Policy, that's a good question. So policy wise they are dependent, they are different, they are separate. Forest wide some features get implemented and that would get implemented to this as well as that. So we will discuss that. There is a global catalog that is a forest wide feature. We're going to discuss, it's coming actually in the next page. And then there are some other forest wide features like AD recycle bin. That's also forest wide feature that will be enabled for all the trees inside the forest. Few features are that going to, other than that, yes, cards.local and mydomain.local are two separate trees. This means the policies of cards.local do not implement on mydomain.local, and mydomain.local policies, group policies do not implement on cards.local. They are independent. But whenever you want to give permissions, it's easy because you're still in the same forest. That's the main catch here. That you are independently working, but whenever you wanted to collaborate, it's easier. If you had separate forest, it would have been more difficult. That's the only, and you get to maintain your identity. All your policies are separate, all your decisions separate. The only thing is whenever you want to collaborate, it's easy, right?
How do you practically do collaboration?
Just give permissions of, suppose it's a cards.local. So toronto.cars.local is a child domain of cars.local. Employees of toronto.cars.local want to access the server of toronto.mydomain.local. So we can give permissions to each other easily because of the same forest. And we're going to do that in the coming classes. We're going to create new tree. We're going to create new child domain. So we're going to mess up everything. I mean, like, we're going to create a big mess. I mean, big network. Yeah.
However, based on your explanation, I think that it is mandatory that control of this transaction. Okay, it is easy. However, I think maybe so much transaction cause the lowest speed in the network, and should be categorized or tiring about the transaction locally.
Yeah.
If there are not any information on the local, maybe forced to the upper layer.
Yeah. So this is you're talking more on the network side and the traffic that's created on the network side. How would you relate that to the two trees or just the forest right now? I mean, what's your question regarding this tree? I didn't get it. So what's your question again? Can you repeat that?
Yeah, about there's a transaction and transfer.
Okay.
If the information couldn't find in that domain.
Oh yeah.
Or tree, and
Then
to
it is
upper.
referred to
Yeah.
the upper one. Definitely, exactly. So we're gonna actually do a lot of testing on that too, in terms of redirecting the traffic. Okay, new forest. It's saying that add a new forest, but it's asking for a root domain name right now. So we can give anything as we discussed according to our company name. We can give. So wherever you work, it's not necessary that you can give exactly company name. You can just give anything you want, right? So we can just give according to that video, so we could be in line with that video, because there are some other videos I've also uploaded for server core and other labs where the my domain local is the same and the IP addresses are same. So we'll just keep the lab like that. So the new name for the forest, actually it's for the domain name, but domain has a top container, domain has a namespace which is called tree, and then domain itself is the administrative unit. You do everyday task on the domain level. You do everyday task on the domain level. Yeah.
Namespace preparation begins here.
Now we are giving a name, so we are creating a tree here, right? This is the tree, this is the foundation of a tree. This is that warrior just landing on that island. Okay, anyway, and the other warriors and not going to land until we create a second tree. So let's just one warrior get the land first and have all the nice looking guys get the. Okay, I can't come up with another story, so let's next. Okay, my domain are local. So this is the creation of a tree. Yes, your This is a timely comment. Now there are many new terminologies here. Forest level, forest functional level, domain functional level. So you were asking about that tree, that policies will be different for mydomain.local tree and other cars.local tree, but there are some features that will be implemented on the forest level. Forest functional level. If I just drop down this menu, that's, and you see 2008 R2, 2012 and 2012 R2. So 2008, if we have any machine, any computer, any domain controller that is Windows Server 2008 based, so that's for backward compatibility. We can select this. If we select the top functional level means what? The features or technologies or some other functions that were introduced in 2008, those features will still be implemented on the top level. But if we go to 2008 R2, there have been enhancements and some new features introduced in 2008 R2. Those will be implemented from the top level. So for now, we need to understand that if we want to implement latest features, but we don't care about the backward compatibility, we have older systems. And every company will have that. So if you go in the market, Windows 2008 is the prevalent system. Mainly Windows 2008 is there, but it's going fast as well. And 2012 is coming fast. So on the top level, forest functional level, since we are installing Windows 2012, we are installing Active Directory on Windows 2012. The latest features of security, latest features of network, storage have been introduced in Windows 2012. Do you want them to be implemented from the top or from the forest? It will be implemented on all the domains, all the child domains. But if you have some branches, suppose New York branch has only Windows 2008 and Windows 2003 computers, so I would go for this Windows 2008 or R2 version, release 2. Release 2 is just having more features than the original 2008. But the main thing is, if you have older operating systems in some of the branches, do not change your top functional level to 2012. So suppose if you do change it to top functional level, forest functional level, if you do this, which was by default, then you go down to the domain functional level, there is nothing supported here. This means that every domain should have only 2012. But yeah, let me just show you this one as well. If you select this 2008, now click this domain functional level, what happens? It will support all the previous operating systems for legacy support or backward compatibility. Yeah.
This is the same as erasing the domain in 2003.
Erasing the domain. So erasing means that. Oh, wow! Erasing and raising. Cool. Anyway, so raising the domain functional, exactly. It's exactly that. Yeah, you're right. So.
If you do that, what happens? They will not communicate with the older version.
So that's a good question. If I do this, guys, what will happen? And I have a New York domain, Windows 2008 right now, but I select this, what will happen?
It will communicate, but it will follow this functional level.
If you have Windows 2008 domain controllers, then they're not gonna communicate. Compatibility, you will lose compatibility. Domain controllers only. So if you plan to have forest functional level 2012, at least domain controllers in every branch should be 2012, not 2008. If you plan to do exactly that. But if you plan to have backward compatibility, you have all the options. Some domains have 2008, some domains have 2012, they have upgraded, they were fast. Some are slow, they have some legacy applications, older applications, they have bigger network, their processors is going slower, they have to be more cautious than others. So if you still choose the backward compatibility on the top level, you can give time to those domains which need more time to get upgraded to 2012. So it's always good idea to keep the top level backward compatible and not the latest if you're a large company, because you will have 2008 if you're a large company nowadays. Yeah, you were saying?
First time I never lost support Windows 2003.
Oh no, 2003 is like a gone thing, definitely. If you have 2003 and something's going on there, definitely this will be the deadliest blow on that. So 2003, but no, there's one. Let me show you a fine line here. If you have older domain controller, whenever I write DC, it means domain controller. Whenever I write AD, it means Active Directory.
ADDs.
Okay, AD. Sorry.
No,
I said ADD.
when you write AD,
I
that
thought it was
means
camera.
ADDs.
Okay, older DC. When you have older DC, and if you have older server, what's the difference here? I should call it member server. Do you see any difference? Do you know of a difference here? There are member servers in the domain. There are domain controllers in the domain. What's the difference? Yeah, you were saying.
The difference is domain controller has the Active Directory.
Yep.
And it's a server, but that has an Active Directory service. But the other member servers, they have servers with different services. Not
Different roles, different features, exactly, but not the Active Directory installed. So they are member servers. They are members of this domain, but they are not the authenticating ones because they don't have Active Directory. So if you have older domain controllers, don't go for that. If you just have 2008, 2003 member servers, going to that won't affect them. Main thing, authentication. Domain controllers who are doing authentication, don't go for 2012 directly, or upgrade those domain controllers to 2012 and then go for the top level as 2012. So you have to be very careful when you're introducing 2012 on the top level. If you see any 2008 in your large organization, in many branches across the globe, maybe across the country, maybe, make sure you have an inventory. How many 2008 you have? How many 2003s you have still? How many 2008s are domain controllers as well? Which will be the most sensitive thing to know. Yeah, and deal with.
I have a domain, I want to follow three. I would like to migrate to Windows 2012, 7. I have to new hardware, right? Or is that I can go with from 3 to 8 or something? In terms of my network.
The best, there are pathways to go direct 2003 to 2012, and there are pathways to go 2003, 2008 and 2012. So there are now, you can create a new forest for 2012 and then migrate member servers one by one from 2003 to 2012. But there are many ways to do that, either 2003, 2008, 2012 or 2003 direct to 2012. Direct is also easy, but you have to be very careful there. Not many chances of mistake.
I'm only worried about the DC,
Yeah,
2003 DC.
yeah.
For the member service, you don't
It's okay. No, you don't have to worry about that. Its support is ending. That's still the worrying thing. That 2003, when support ends, you will not have critical updates being released. This means that 2003 will be a sitting duck for hackers to attack now. After the support ends from Microsoft, no critical updates, no security updates for 2003, and it's ending soon. Yeah.
If we keep the forest functional level to 2008, we are losing some features.
We will not have the 2012 features definitely.
So the best thing is we should get rid of that 2008 as soon as possible.
As soon as possible, but it's never easy.
Yeah.
There are many applications. Suppose it's a bank and you have thousands of users connecting to an application that is installed on 2008. Now that's a banking application. So yes, it's easiest to say that, but it was a task for us as well, and we had to have the application vendor contacted, the banking application that had installed 2008. Then they said, oh, for now we don't support 2012, but we are coming up with a patch. After that, you can migrate this application to a 2012 server. So it took us 6 months to do that.
So we have paid for 2012 licensing, but still we are using 2008.
Top features Yeah, we are just giving, no, in many companies, smaller companies I can say only. Large companies, yes, it's 2008. Smaller companies, they have gone to 2012, all 2012 machines because they're smaller anyway.
Maybe you explain this. We can upgrade the 2003 back to 2012.
Yeah, we can upgrade that direct as well. There are steps. TechNet it and you would know, or Google it.
One more. So later when we need to raise the functional level, or we can.
Raise is always possible, but after raising, going back is not possible. So once you raise it, you want to make it back to 2008, no way. Then you're trapped. And if there was any 2008 and you missed it and it got disconnected and it was crucial machine, then you're in big trouble. So always have very good inventory. That how many 2008s you have, how many domain controllers you have, and how many member servers you have. Okay, that's the forest functional level if you support the latest. So we're going to learn all the features of 2012, right? So we're going to keep it like that. So if we keep it like that, then domain functional level would just give one option, 2012, which is okay for us. We don't have any domains. Okay, right now we don't have even a single domain, but even later we will have just 2012 domains. So you're yawning or question? Okay, okay. So sometimes it's like, I'm like, oh, yeah, what's the question? What's the question? It's like, no, sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, DNS. Why is there an option here to uncheck a DNS? DNS is so crucial. It's the eyes of Windows. DNS goes down, you have nothing working in your Windows environment, domain environment. So if I uncheck that now, having an option, accidentally I do that, or maybe I have some information and I uncheck that. What is that information I need to know and make sure, and then I uncheck that.
The DNS server address. If
So
I have
this
a-
means, yeah,
If I have a dedicated DNS server.
yeah.
It's the DNS rule.
So, yeah, you were saying?
The DNS service installed on other server.
Yeah, so DNS role is installed on another server. Only then we do this, right? When we check this, DNS gets installed, and that if you install DNS with Active Directory, it is called Active Directory Integrated DNS, AD Integrated DNS. So this means it's totally integrated with Active Directory. So when you install Active Directory, there are two domain controllers. They talk to each other. Whenever domain controller update each other, their updates are always encrypted, secure updates. So if DNS is embedded with Active Directory, so DNS updates will also be secure and encrypted, right? And corrupted, no, it's encrypted, right? Okay, DNS. First of all, if we install with Active Directory, it's AD integrated DNS. Second thing, what's a global catalog?
It is catalog of all the objects in the forest.
Yep. So two main things you should have in mind when we talk about global catalog. Forest wide search. That's one thing it does. Second thing, it helps log in users. So whenever I ask global catalog, forest wide search, log on help to users. So it helps logging in the users, and it does forest wide search. So again, GC. What is GC or global catalog? Global catalog is, so write that down, memorize that. It's forest wide search and log on usernames, users. Why is it able to help search across the forest? Global catalog has, okay. Wow. Okay, I'm coming. Got it. Okay. So, forest-wide help. Search, not help. So this is forest-wide search and global catalog. Oh wow, this area does not write. Okay, anyway. So global catalog has, oh, thank you. Thanks. So global catalog has partial information of all objects across the forest. So which thing has full information of all objects in the forest? Domain controller. Okay. Global catalog has partial information. So once you first two things you know, forest-wide search is done by global catalog, log on users is done by global catalog. And why is it able to do forest-wide search? Because it has partial information of all objects across the forest. Partial information. So at least as much information as to redirect you where that object is located. So you're in, suppose, New York branch, and you're searching for a printer in Toronto branch. If you have a global catalog server locally available in New York branch, then it has enough information or partial information about that printer. Oh, this printer 201 and it's in Toronto branch. Okay. So it's going to search, and the search results will be in front of you, and you can just double click that printer and print to that printer from your New York branch to the Toronto branch, right? So global catalog helps you search.
So you mean where it resides, the global catalog? So where it resides, the global catalog, it's on one for the forest, or
So global,
each,
it does forest-wide search, but you should install global catalog with as many domain controllers, or especially branch domain controllers. When you deploy a domain controller, always make sure that at least one GC role is also installed, global catalog role. That was a question or just stretching? Okay. Just kidding. So, okay, so partial, so this means now nobody can stretch in this class. So like this, okay, like this, or like this. But when you do this, okay, question. Now you have to ask a question. Why did you raise your hand? So, okay. Global catalog. Now we know, so we know what's DNS on this page. We know what's forest functional level. Forest functional levels are top functional level introduced in 2012. If you select 2012, if you select 2008, then the features and the features introduced in 2008 will be implemented on the top level. That is not good, but it's good if you want to offer backward compatibility. This all what I'm talking about is getting recorded, so you can listen to this during your commuting in your, put it in your cell phone, the video. I'm going to upload this video on Dropbox, and you can download from there.
Okay, so later on, if the other old servers, like the servers upgrade to 12, can it later on?
Yeah, it can always go ahead. It can always be raised, but once raised, it can never go back.
I mean,
Yeah. Once you upgrade all the 2008 to 2012, raise it. Anytime you can raise it.
I have heard that 2003, we cannot upgrade it to the 2012, but we have to go through that.
Yeah, that's the famous common path. 2008 for that.
8, and then from 2008 we can take it
Yeah.
to 2012.
There are now, because 2003 everyone will be starting, whoever has 2003, so they have came up with certain ways that they can go direct as well. But we will discuss that in detail. Yeah, yeah. So
Sorry, just double check. If we have a 2018 RY forest level setup, well, that's 2008. In the domain level, it's 2000.
domain level, if you have 2003 servers, it's okay, but not domain controller. Domain controller should be 2012.
Yeah.
In order to domain level, you want 2012.
But in
Domain controllers 2012.
But in our 2008 servers, we can have the virtual machine.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. You're right. What's RODC? Read-only domain controller.
doesn't have anything itself, it is just reading from other
We don't have any authorized.
So RODC, does RODC authenticate?
Yes. It is redirecting.
So this means it does not authenticate itself, right?
Yeah.
So does RODC authenticate? So first of all, RODC. What is RODC? It's so. Did you take down all these? Or if you think it's important, take it down. If you think it's not, still take it down. So oops, and it's down. Anyway, so RODC, main thing to remember is no passwords are locally cached. Main one-liner, main. But then there are exceptions. Main one-liner, it does not cache. Cache means cache, right? Locally save. It does not locally save passwords. Okay, but you know, so how domain controller really authenticate? Domain controllers authenticate if they locally have those passwords available. Then they can authenticate. If they don't have those passwords locally available in their machines, then they can redirect to the nearest read and write domain controller, right? So, oh yeah, before removing, I'll ask if you haven't taken down the notes, you can still take the picture of the board, right? With me in a good pose like this. Oh man, now I have done this. But please take down notes of all these. So RODC, we're gonna do the lab anyway. So no passwords cached locally. There's always a exception. So if you have this branch and if you have this branch, okay. So this branch has RW or read write DC, and this branch has RODC. So already it does not do the first A, which is auth or authentication. Second is also auth. Okay, that's a bad. So authn and author. That's good. Now it's different. So RODC does not authenticate, but it does authorization. Auditing cannot be enabled. So main thing is authorization, which means what? So first of all, it's not saving any passwords locally. Second thing is, suppose this is a remote branch in Alaska, and actually this branch is inside an igloo. So igloo, our house is made of sand, of ice. Okay, so made of ice blocks. Anyway, so there are just 10 employees here, and those 10 employees, and the WAN connection here is very crappy. WAN connection. So internet connection between the branches goes up and down, down. Whenever the WAN connection is down, and if the RODC was redirecting all the authentication traffic, and if the connection is down, what happens? Will those people be authenticated? They cannot be authenticated. Then what's the solution? They need to at least work and access local resources, right? When the WAN connection is down. What's the solution for letting them keep working, for accessing local resources, sharing files together, so at least they should be authenticated locally, even if the WAN is down. So make it a so make it a read. Either there are two choices: make it a read and write domain controller, or what? Additional read and write. So same, that either make it a read and write or get another read and write. Then there's the third. Okay, that was the second one. I was gonna say the second one anyway. Now the third solution is that you cache passwords of only these 10 employees on that RODC. You can cache or locally store passwords of any employee, any username. When you locally cache passwords on the RODC, make sure these 10 employees are nobodies. Which means what? They don't have privileges to access critical resources. They are just domain users. So, and they have access to the local printer, they have access to the local file server, but they don't have access to the forest-wide network resources. Only then you cache their username passwords to this RODC. Then, if the connection goes down, those 10 employees will still be authenticated locally, but only those 10 employees, because you save the passwords of only those 10 guys. So if your CEO visits the branch, you as a system administrator will already know or should know when the CEO arrives and when he leaves. As soon as he arrives, okay, there will be all other people as well. So you will cache his username password on RODC. He will log in locally and talk to all employees and use the resources. Then he will go away, and you remove that password again from RODC. And keep an eye on that DC during that time. But anyway, RODC is mainly for if the thief just steals the RODC or the server physically and goes away. If it was a read-write domain controller, read-write, and the thief gets away, that was what's happening before RODC was introduced. That you have a read and write domain controller in every crappy branch across the globe. Large companies, they open branches in remote areas as well. Those are not secure. They don't have much security. But if a thief goes to that remote area and just steals your read and write domain controller, within next 2 to 3 or 4 hours, thief will have passwords of your directors, your CEO, your president, your managers, and through their accounts using, thief can access all the critical files, company secrets, and then sell it to the rival companies. Wow, you're rich. Cool. Not cool, actually. Not cool. So RODC were introduced with no local password caching, unless all you cache or save the passwords of those people who have no privileges across the domain on critical resources. Okay, so this is RODC, right? You're taking down those notes, right? These notes, because I'm gonna quiz you right, at any time, and if you see your notes and you see the answer, you're good. You're allowed to see your notes when I'm quizzing. But if you see your notes and couldn't answer, then your notes quality is bad. Either you were just giving a prescription of Tylenol, this is, take it 3 times a day, which we never understand, right? What did he write? So don't make it as a prescription of Tylenol, or the best thing, you put your notes on Microsoft Word file and organize them with the timestamp. This day, these notes for this topic. They should be on the Word file. Okay, anyway, RODC we discussed, global catalog we discussed, DNS we know. What is DSRM? Directory Services Restore Mode. Yep.
So how does RODC does authentication? We know.
Authorization, RODC has the information of which local user is part of which group, and if suppose there's a local printer here and the printer 1, and only the accounts group has access to that printer, and marketing group does not have access to that printer, they have their own printer. Suppose the user is part of the accounts group, ACCC, and marketing, mark, and the printer resource is here. So the user is part of that group, user 1. So RODC will have that information that from, and you would have added or created those groups in a read and write domain controller. RODC takes information but does not send information, right? True or false? So RODC, it's a one-way replication, it's a one-way update. So you would create all the groups for this branch already. You would have added users to the groups for this branch from a nearest read and write domain controller, and RODC would just take that information and would know right away, okay, this guy is there, part of this. So authorization, the request goes to the local RODC server, and if the authorization information is correct, then at least the network resources are, the users are able to access from that. If authentication was done. Sorry.
What option is not checked?
Which one?
Okay.
That's another good question. Oh, why don't we just create a RODC now?
Because we don't have any.
Okay, that's one reason. Yeah.
That's one DNS first.
Okay, you're saying that DNS should be first installed and then RODC will be enabled.
Uncheck the DNS first.
Then RODC will be enabled.
Okay.
If we uncheck the DNS,
We don't have a.
any other option?
We don't have.
What were you thinking, man? No. RODC is disabled because there has to be one read and write first. Then RODC will start getting updates from that. If the first one is read only, then how can you make changes? So first one has to be read write. Yeah. Then no changes at all. No changes, there is no domain, right? So it has to be, first one has to be read and write. It's a compulsory thing. Later ones you will see this option enabled. So authorization is done when authentication is done in RODC. So authorization information is always RODC. So group information, what membership that user has, if it was authenticated, then authorization information is with RODC, right? Okay. DSRM again, directory services restore mode. When do you restore?
When there is a problem with the Active Directory.
And you restore from backups. So you restore from backups. What's a backup?
Basically, it acts like a safe mode.
Yeah.
Like if we restart the system or the system just try to pull up the information to restore the Active Directory, only the DSRM is working by manually.
Yeah. So if you want to restore from an old backup, you have to restart the domain controller. If you want to enter this DSRM mode, you have to restart the domain controller and then press F8, just like safe mode in XP in Windows 7. And then when you press F8, the option comes, do you want to log into the directory services restore mode or the the directory services DSRM mode. So why is it password protected? We just want to restore from a backup. Why does it need a security?
So it is the authentication.
I need to just restore from a backup.
Someone is still the tape drive.
So suppose I'm the junior administrator and you're the senior administrator and I hate you and I want you to be kicked out of your job. So I'm just gonna take the 3-year-old backup of Active Directory. So today now there are 50,000 users. 3 years ago there were like 10,000 users only. 40,000 users gone. Cool. I mean, so I took that tape, but and the senior administrator didn't know that, and you gave me the password of that restore mode. Thank you very much. So I restart that, doing press F8, and then put that tape there, and then go to the restore mode, and then restore from a 2-year-old tape drive, or from wherever you took the backup. Access that. So then I restore the Active Directory from that authoritative restore. Now all those 40,000, so whenever you took 2 years back, whatever was the situation of that Active Directory, whatever objects were created in that Active Directory, it will go back to that state. This means 2 years back there were 10,000 users, so all the records of 40,000 users will be gone. It will be overwritten by 10,000, 2-year-old backup. So so the company actually goes back 2 years when it was there. So all the objects gone since that 2 years till today. Goodbye, senior administrator. So
If it was a senior administrator, maybe it may have more than one backup.
yeah, so you could just restore that from the yesterday's backup as well. You will recover, but this will be a heavy blow. I mean, you will have a downtime. Those usernames which were not there when they try to connect to now, they will not be connected because the records is gone for those. Only 10,000 users at 2 years back, if they are still there, they will still be logging in. But others, all record gone. So once it discovered, okay, start searching for a new job.
Break of 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, if the senior administrator knows that. So if you're a smart junior administrator You would do it at a time when it takes time for the senior administrator to come to the computer and realize the situation. And if he's at home or maybe he's on vacation, yeah. I mean, anyway, so we can work smart, or we can devastate smart way. We put the password here and go ahead. So directory services restore mode. You want to restore from backup. This is the area to go to. Next.
Do we have a lab on restoring?
Sorry.
Do we have a lab exercise on restoring?
Yeah, backup and restore. We have the lab exercise for that. We're gonna do that. Next. Okay, sorry. If you see that yellow warning, okay, when it comes back, I'll go previous again. The previous screen was showing a yellow warning, yellow line, right? Everyone is on that screen, right?
Yes.
So don't press next. I'm going there. So this means that it's looking for a local DNS server, which we are in the process of installing. So it cannot find that DNS server. Why? Because there is no DNS server. So we can ignore this error. That there is no DNS server, so stop searching for one. Right?
So if we have selected
DNS.
the DNS, we want CDC.
Yeah. Then it will look for it will find the DNS server.
So then instead of that, here maybe it is asking for the DNS IP.
There will still be more warnings, so that's why we just ignore and go ahead with this. And it's better not to install our server DNS server, because Active Directory is going to install and perfectly configure it right automatically. So we should leave the DNS configuration to the Active Directory, the first part of DNS. Yeah.
Excuse me, the previous step, when you chose the function domain function was that 2012 R2?
Yeah.
Because I don't see it on my screen.
You're kidding me. No. What do you mean?
I only have 2012, but it's not 2000.
Oh. Okay. Where did you get that file? Let me hide behind this. Okay, where did you get that file from? So.
I got it from other students.
All other students, okay, yeah. So where did you get from? Which student? Okay. You should have R2. Okay, so you need to reinstall again. Did I say reinstall? No, yeah, I did. So you need to get R2 image, because by mistake I had a non-R2 2012 actually, which I used for a separate lab, and I kept it there. And on that last fateful Saturday, I just distributed that 2008, not the R2 version. While I was talking all the time about R2, I was copying non-R2. So anyway, so that was a mistake by me. Now I think you need to reinstall the whole thing again. But there is another way. Just copy. So any of those, shut down the virtual machines, working virtual machines of any of your friend, and copy the folder of virtual machine. You will and start those virtual machine in and you will have a working. So there's a break coming now. Okay, there's a break now. So you can start that process. Oh yeah.
We don't need to shut down. You can just
No, shut. So you're saying install. So okay, but you can copy from. But if you want to reinstall the whole thing, that's good for learning purpose. Yeah. Okay. Okay, guys, break. 15-minute break. 5 minutes break, and please be back in 5 minutes, because whoever misses, because anything you miss now, you won't understand that, right? So please, in 5 minutes, be back. 15, not 15. 1 point. Resume. So I'm resuming the video now. We are on the NetBIOS screen. The only purpose of NetBIOS screen is that if you have any legacy application or an old application that still connects to your Active Directory with a single name. So what do you mean by single name? Do we have double names? Yes, we do. How? Microsoft always says, just like we just gave a name now, a prefix dot suffix. But some applications are hard-coded to connect to a domain controller with a single name. For those applications, it's single name. is given there, or you can even change that name for those applications. Suppose there's a banking application which is old but it is doing perfect till now, but it is hard coded to just connect with a domain controller or an Active Directory domain with a single name. Otherwise, every application is programmed to connect to Active Directory with that proper something dot something or something tor dot mydomain dot local, downtown dot tor dot mydomain dot local. But some applications are there that has to see the single name of our Active Directory. So NetBIOS name is just for that purpose if there are older applications with this requirement, right? Next. Okay, it's taking time. Okay, very important. This is where Active Directory will be installed, right? C:\NTDS folder. So, yes, database folder will be installed there, which is ntds.dit, right? Then there is log files folder. So all the logs will be also saved on C:\Windows folder. What is sysvol? Which is? So it does two things. Just like in global catalog, you remember two sentences. For sysvol, you need to remember these two things. I will quiz you again. Sysvol does two things, and these are that it is a central repository. Oh, I made it. Central repository for. It is central repository and distribution point for group policies and scripts. So always remember that. I'm gonna quickly quiz you anytime. What is sysvol? What is global catalog? What is DNS? What is AAA? So all these definitions you should memorize after understanding that, right? Memorize for papers more. Yeah.
What is the purpose of knowing the location of sysvol folder?
So for administrators, it should be known because sysvol is doing the most crucial thing. If you put some kind of script on a domain and there are 10,000 computers, and those 10,000 computers, so the script does what? When the computers shut down, the free space, the temp folder or any unused data should be deleted. So maybe the script deletes and creates some free space by deleting the unnecessary files in the computer. You put that script in sysvol. So if the script is on sysvol, then it's going to make sure when all the 10,000 machines are shutting down, that script will run because it's in sysvol folder. Same for the group policy. 10,000 machines, you want to block Internet Explorer. So you enable the group policy, and then where does it get saved in the background? In sysvol. We don't have to manually put that there. In the background, we should know that sysvol folder is where it is saved. We should know as a system administrator what is sysvol and where it is located. If there is some problem going on or a virus attack happens and sysvol gets corrupted or somebody accidentally deletes that folder, it's a folder actually inside Windows folder. So you would know right away what got deleted where. And so this is a knowledge, this is an important knowledge that you should know that sysvol not only it is the group policies and scripts are placed there, but they are also distributed. Two different things. It is placed and then distributed across the domain to all the servers, all the computers. Maybe there are thousands of computers. In our company, it's 86,000 computers. So across the globe. So from whatever policy or whatever script we put in this folder, it gets to all the computers or wherever we have defined from organizational unit level. That only go for the marketing branch, only go for that London branch or Singapore branch. But this is sysvol, standard repository, as well as distribution point for group policies and scripts. Very, very important. If this gets corrupted, this is a major task that you're going to be having a problem with, and you have to fix it right away, then and there. As always, there are some group policies implemented that has to be implemented when the user logs on, when the machine logs on. Yep.
After that, some people change the location of MPDS and syscall for security.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We never did that, but people do that just to secure, because hackers would know as well. Or, you know what, hackers have also attended these types of classes, because first they need to know how a network works. Then they will know, okay, syswall, okay, now I know. They are more knowledgeable. So hackers also attend these similar classes. So they would know then, okay, how to attack, from which places are vulnerable inside a Windows environment. So, okay, anyway, yes, if you change the path, that is a good idea. Yeah, it's a good idea. So next, but yeah, we should document somewhere that we change the path for that, or at least it should be here, and we should take a screenshot and put it on Facebook. No, don't put it on Facebook. Okay, LinkedIn only. Just don't Facebook. Okay, next, final summary. But there is another button here called View Script. So the purpose of View Script. First of all, the final summary, whatever we have answered here is showing here. When we click View Script, let's click View Script. If you click it, it has created a PowerShell script of our selections, which we answered or which we selected there in the back there in all the wizard. Every answer is here, and it has converted all the answers into a script. We also call it an answer file. The only thing is that it is used for is if you want to deploy a domain controller without attending it, without being there, sitting there and clicking. Suppose you are a system administrator and you are given a task of deploying Active Directory on 300 branches. So 300 branches, you connect to one branch and then start Active Directory, then click and what is there? Instead, if you have a script, you start that, connect to the branch to the member server and just launch this script. It's going to install the domain controller with your selected options and answers and restart, and it joined to the main parent domain. So this is a script to install Active Directory without sitting there or attending or waiting for the next screen and then answer or select the choices. So all the choices have been saved here. If in case we are doing a mass deployment of domain controllers across a large company, across the branches, so this is a ready-made script. You can change the wordings, you can change anything here, but it is just in case of that you want to deploy somewhere else without. This is called unattended installation. You're not attending that installation. You're not waiting for the next window to appear, right? So View Script is a very important option as well. Okay, next. And then it's going to verify the prerequisites for domain controller operation, and it's going to give those two warnings again, which were, so one is the DNS, that I cannot find DNS, how can I delegate? Hey, we don't have a DNS yet. Didn't you get it the first time? So this second error pops up again. Do you want to review this error? No. After restarting, we're going to, this error won't be here, because after restarting, DNS will be installed, right? Okay, but what about the first warning, this warning? So if you have a very, very old, 15 years old Windows NT machine, Windows NT server, which was very earliest servers, then your current domain controller 2012 will not be able to communicate with that guy, because nowadays domain controllers talk in encrypted language, and NT was not talking in encrypted language. So domain controllers update each other, and the data is encrypted always, secure. So NT won't be understanding all that encryption of today. So if you have NT, get rid of it. Or what were you thinking till now? We can just say those sentences. Okay, if we go down, prerequisites check completed. Yes, we are ignoring those two errors. We know why. And all prerequisites checks passed successfully. Okay, then click the install and let it restart. So we let it restart, and we will be making sure that Active Directory is installed. We need a proof of that. There's a folder. We now know the path of Active Directory, right? C:\Windows /NTDS is the path. We're going to go inside that after it restarts. After completely installing, it's going to restart. We're going to go to that path and we're going to check the file called ntds.dit or dit. So there's a file called ntds.dit. This is the database where everything Active Directory is being saved. This is the main file in which all the Active Directory is being saved. Okay, it's restarting. For all the SSD gang, I think it's restarting. I'm saying SSD gang, so you should join our gang quickly, sooner.
External SSD.
Right now we are a minority.
I'm
External SSD, okay, internal SSD gang. That's a new name now.
But should we start installing because our is not that bad?
Oh, okay. Yeah, start. Yeah, install.
Why would we manually go there and check NTDS because it.
We understand it. It's an understood thing, but sometimes, well, when we do the next labs, then you will know why. Because we need a proof that it was uninstalled as well. When we uninstall, this file is gone, but the links are always there. Active Directory links. So we need to know which is a domain controller, which is not a domain controller. Okay, it's restarted here, and for the record of the video, we're just gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna check that. Guys, so I'm going to add those who are not in Google group again, and make sure I'm gonna SMS those guys who have sent me again this SMS. So please follow those videos. Now you have Active Directory installed. DNS, we need to rename the administrator account. We need to join computer domain. So what I'm gonna do today till I'm just gonna join computer domain because we are already out of time, and then so at least we have covered the 2 videos, right? So the best thing to do is repeat the whole thing on 2 new machines from scratch. So shut down these 2 machines, class machines. From your template, create 2 new clones and name them server 3 and 4 because they are 1 or 2, and those should be your home machines. And then install Active Directory, join it to domain, follow the whole video again.
Remove the old one, right?
No, so shut down these machines and so it will be here. Don't remove, and create totally new clones. IP address should be next sequential IP. Name should be next sequential name. So IP address would be 3 and 4, right? 192.168.0.3, 0.4. Name should be server 3 and 4. And install Active Directory on 3 and join the 4 to the domain. And this should be your class, your home lab. Next Saturday will be even more interesting. We're going to install replica DC. We're going to create accounts from PowerShell, 400 accounts. So there's a lot to do in the class lab. You have to do everything again in the home lab as well. So I need screenshots of the summary page of your home lab. Email. Email me on itguyme@gmail.com or on the group. So that's the most silliest email I've ever come up with. I have many of them. itguyme. I created an email called itguyme. So it means, hey, I'm the IT guy, you're not the IT guy, ha ha ha. So when I created it, it was something else in mind. Then I go, whoa, this is so silly. Sorry? Oh yeah, sure.
Take a picture step by step or just
If you do it step by step, it's good for you. So either you send me step by step or at least a summary page, and yes, I did the lab, and the names should be clear there. It's a home lab, it's not a class lab. But if you send step by step, this is in future you will go back and you will know all the steps there. So try to do every screen, grab a screenshot, and or at least the summary page should be sent by everyone before next Saturday. So this means you did the lab again from scratch. Yeah, you were saying?
Can we use a different domain name so it won't.
Use any domain name, use any other domain name. Don't use mydomain.local. Use any domain name of your liking, but sequentially name and IP address, make it sequential. Use any other domain name. But I need a screenshot before Saturday that you did this lab, so then we'll do the other lab, screenshots for that lab as well, right? If you create screenshots for every screen, this will be a treasure for you, because once you start applying for the lab, for the job, what happens? You need to go through all the steps. You have screenshots that you created now. You just go through those and you will remember everything, how to install Active Directory. Because many times they have in their interviews, they've asked how to install Active Directory, next steps. So if you just gone through the pictures which you just created now, wow. So it will, and for next complicated labs, keep creating screenshots of every screen. It's good for you. Or at least if you can answer, just give that paper, This is below me. Come on. Okay, this is, everyone got up. Cool. So I'm just going to join this computer to the domain. So, okay, joining, because the video is still running. So, and I'm going to upload that video and send it to you with all the discussion. The video on YouTube is not, it does not have detailed discussion, right? So I'm just going to log in from this domain controller and just go to the second server and log in first. Oh, it's logged in. So local server. So I'm on the first server. I have logged in, and the proof that Active Directory is installed, if you go to tools here, it's going to show you all the Active Directory icons here. But the main proof is if you go to Windows Explorer, I'm on the server 1. If you go to Windows Explorer and C drive and in Windows folder, and if you go to NTDS, so I'm just pressing N, there's an NTDS folder. Inside NTDS folder, there's a file called ntds.dit here. This is the Active Directory file. This is the database of Active Directory, ntds.dit, right? So when you uninstall Active Directory, you will not, these tools will be here, suppose, and we're going to uninstall in next week. So all we need to have a proof of that, Active Directory is removed or not. We will come back to a Windows folder, click anywhere, and we press N. NTDS folder should not pop up. If the NTDS folder is there, it's a domain controller. If NTDS folder in this path is not there, it's not a domain controller, right? So this tools and Active Directory icons is not a proof that it's a domain controller. Icons of Active Directory are showing maybe Active Directory is still not there. So the proof will be here in this path. See, Windows NTDS folder should be there or not is the proof that it is Active Directory domain controller or not, right? And if I go to the second server, if my preferred DNS is good, then I'll simply join it to the domain. For joining the domain, I'm on second server, local server, workgroup. I'll click the workgroup, click change, and click domain, and put the full domain name, mydomain.local. Press OK. It should ask for credentials. It is asking for credentials now. And what do I put here? Username, which administrator is the topmost username which has the most privileges. It is the king of the jungle, so it has all the privileges to do anything across the domain, right? So administrator, password, press OK. It should say welcome to the domain. There it is, welcome to mydomain.local. Press OK. So next week, so leave your lab till here, class lab, and next week we're going to do a lot of tasks, renaming administrator account, and then PowerShell creation of 400 users by PowerShell, and then making this as a replica DC, an additional domain controller. We're going to do next week, but here till now this is the actual lab. So I've just joined it to the domain. Yep.
Can we do unattended installation as well?
Yeah, we will do that. There are many things. We're going to create trees. We're going to create child domains. So we're going to expand this network a lot. So right now, Active Directory is installed. We understood many of the concepts. See this lab. I'm going to upload this lab either on YouTube as a casual class lab, or I'm going to upload it on Dropbox and send you the link. In Dropbox, there's a problem. If you get the link, you click play, it's going to start the video, but it's going to run till 15 minutes and then going to stop. So if you get this on a Dropbox link, download it. Do not online play it. You can online play it only if it is a YouTube link, right? So this is it. Now you can go. Anyway, so I'm just going to stop the video here, and till here you should have done your home lab as well.